Hello, everybody. My name's Maria Phillips, and today we're going to talk about what are my options now that I'm on a wait list for a charter. So there's a lot going on to this school year with enrollment, and I know it's very confusing, stressful. There's a lot of questions on what can I do. So we're going to go over that today. There are options still for you. So don't get frustrated. Don't get overwhelmed. We got you. We can totally help you out. And I hope this information that's given right now will give you a little bit of solace in your life. So a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Maria Phillips, and I am the president and administrator for the Los Banos Homeschool Co-op. And I have been homeschooling for 3 years. We left the public school system after kindergarten and went right into homeschooling my son, who is now heading into 4th grade. My daughter is heading into 1st grade. She went to a private preschool, and that's the only experience she's had. So with that being said, we didn't have to do a whole lot of deschooling. Some of you may not know what that means, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. So this is something I actually do with every homeschool parent that requests to join the co-op and says, hi, I really want to homeschool my child. I don't know where to start. I don't know what the options are. How do I begin? What do I do? So I actually usually will take a new parent out for coffee and sit with a piece of paper just like this, which you can't see. There we go. And it just goes over what your options are as a homeschooler. So there's 3 types of homeschooling. One is homeschooling through a charter, which we'll get more in depth in just a second. The second one is homeschooling with a private tuition-based school. And the third is what we call a PSA, which is a private school affidavit. So those are your 3 options. We're going to tear these down one by one. So let's talk about a charter first. A charter school is this couple of the big names out there are Inspire and Connecting Waters. There's Compass. I can go on and on and on. If you are in Fresno or Merced County, you can go right to a Google search and say Fresno County Homeschool Charters. Now a list will populate, and those are the ones that operate within your county. You can put whatever county you live in. This cast can be anywhere in the United States, actually. You can look for charter schools that are all over the place. And that's a simple Google search. And like I said, we've got the main ones that are around here are Inspire, Connecting Waters, Heart Ransom, Horizon Charter, and K-12. K-12 is a big one. So one thing about K-12 that I want to discuss with everybody is you can still enroll into K-12 if you're interested in a charter school. K-12 CAVA, which is CAVA, it's the California Virtual Academy out of Fresno. I want to talk about that just a second because they are still enrolling, and I just want to make sure that you guys understand what K-12 is. K-12 is kinder through 12th grade, so you're not going to get your TK students in. But I would like to mention that legally in the state of California, you do not have to enroll your child until the age of 6. And that child has to turn 6 as of September 1st of that school year. So let's just take 2020, for example. Your 6-year-old does not turn 6 until December 20th. Guess what? You don't have to enroll them into any school. You can continue teaching them at home without having to file a PSA or join a charter. You have to legally enroll them by 2021 because of their birth dates. And you have to enroll your student by 1st grade. Kindergarten is not a mandatory grade in the state of California. So if you are on a wait list with your kinder or your TK and you're worried about this, please don't take a deep breath. You don't have to legally enroll them. You can get workbooks. There's wonderful workbooks at Costco, the Dollar Tree. I'm not joking. The Dollar Tree really has some good ones. And you can do this yourself until they turn 6 by September 1st. So with K-12, you have capability kinder through 12. I'm just going to read a little overview here so you guys understand what it is. It is majority of an online school, so your child will be in online classes. But your curriculum is already chosen and taught by accredited teachers. Elementary is majority parent, learning coach led with some class time called Class Connects. Middle school and high school are taught by teachers in Class Connects using what's called Blackboard. The parents' learning coaches help support questions that kids have or to check their work if needed. There are monthly field trips in multiple locations where families can come together and socialize. There is a state testing once a year held in different locations. The best meet the family's needs as well as the physical fitness test for certain grades. You have to have a physical fitness test for all charters and tuition-based schools as well. You have to. The only way you get around that is if you are a PSA. PSAs do not have to pass a physical fitness test. But back to K-12. For honors, awards, promotions, and graduations, there are different locations that family could choose between to participate. So my question was, is CAVA the same as all K-12 schools? You sign up with K-12 and they designate which school under them you will attend. There are 5 to 6 different ones that are named CAVA: Fresno, Los Angeles, Sacramento for sure. Some programs just different vice principals that run their schools. So how many hours a day do you think your child would be on the computer was my next question. Between 3 to 5 hours. Some will be online. So with them, you should expect 3 to 5 hours of school time. Some of which is going to be online, which is automatically tracked because you have to log in, log your hours, and then go back off. So it's automatically going to be tracked for you. You're not going to have to track that. And then offline, which will be, that's going to be recorded by you. So that's with K-12. Again, it's primarily online. What's the difference between K-12 and the charters? That is charters, you can do all workbooks. You can do all online classes. You can do 50% here, 50% there. When they hit a certain grade, they have to at least do one online class. So that's the difference between K-12. Wonder if my child is not good at sitting in front of a computer for a very long time. You might enjoy it. Maybe they make it super fun. I'm not a K-12 parent. I've been with Connecting Waters and Inspire, so I really cannot talk from personal experience. However, if you have a choice between K-12 and PSA and you're nervous to become a private homeschooler, then K-12, you can try it out. You can always try it out. And then if you don't like it, come October, you can withdraw and then form a private school affidavit, which we will go later in the video on the dates and times that you can do that. So that just look into K-12. It's a simple website, k12.com. And the parents that I have that are in it, I have some that absolutely love it, would never go anywhere else. I have a couple that are like, it's okay. And I have a couple that are like, no, this wasn't for me. Again, it's your journey. It's your journey, and enjoy it. Now, the other version is a private school. Now, with what happened with the state bill, AB 98, is we have capped funding, which is kind of messing up a lot of schools' plans. We'll just take Inspire, for instance. Yosemite had a 2,300. They were hoping to increase to 2,500 to 2,800. They can't do that anymore because whatever you ended school year 2019-2020 with, you have to start 2020-2021 with. So that's messed up this whole process this summer of charter schools. And right now, a lot of you are on wait lists, and that's what's causing a lot of issues right now. So what is the difference between a private tuition-based charter versus a homeschool charter like Inspire? Well, that is because you have a monthly fee that you have to pay, and some of these are very reasonably priced. Motherhood of Divine Grace is a tuition-based program. One of the moms in there pays just $70 a month for 3 of her children. You get all your books. You get everything that you need, your online support, your teacher support, all the books, workbooks, $70 a month. Now there are more expensive ones like Varsity Tutors, which for our average high school student, their program is almost $12,000 a year. So they do get pricey. You have to do some research on which ones are what. A couple of those, if you want to write them down, would be Calvert. Calvert is a tuition-based program. They have a family plan. They also have military discount, multi-family member discounts. Your basic family plan was only $70 a month to $400 a month, depending on what you want to take out of it, which we're going to get to that in a moment too. Abeka Academy, which is abeka.com, is another private homeschool school. And, they range from $350 a month or a year. I'm sorry, $350 a year to $1,200 a year. So if you really do some research, you might be able to find a reasonably based, very good school. Now when you pick a school, you want to look for an accreditation. There's usually also a ranking within California that school gets. If there's 1,000 ranking and that school's ranked 999, that might not be your first choice. So make sure you look for those accreditations. Make sure you see what their school ranking is before you decide to enroll your child. Keystone Online, that can go up to $2,300 a year. So there is a lot of options for tuition based. The difference here is if you're paying a tuition, you are not controlled by AB 98. So that means they can't cap private schools. They cannot put a funding stop when you're the one that's paying the funding. So the difference here is here's this charter. Now, all charter schools give you a stipend of X amount of dollars to spend on your child's education. So let's stop for just a second before we continue with tuition based, because it's kind of going to start making some sense. Charters give you, let's just say we have $1,000 for first semester and $1,000 for second semester. That money can be used for curriculum, sports, music, a variety of things like that. Just examples of what I use my funding for is I buy my curriculum, and then I get science kits. I pay for my son's music and Chinese. It pays for his PE. It pays for his entrepreneurship class. So that's what I use my funding for. So that's just some examples. There's unlimited potential when you have that kind of money, but the state does run that. So when these bills come down, we have to pay attention to what we're doing. How can we solve these issues? And that's what charter schools are faced with today. I do have some good news that Governor Newsom of California, he had to sign something into effect before the school year started because there was a lot of COVID-19 inside that bill. There was a lot of jargon in it. He had to pass something, but on the good note, he does not. He posted a quote. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not going to bother even trying to quote it. But basically, he understands that schools need to be able to grow, and good schools should be supported. So he wants amendments to be made. But unfortunately, that's not going to help us right now because if anyone knows, amendments are going to take a while. So this school year, we need to find alternatives until we can fix this situation in hopes that even January, maybe our situation will change. If not, we're all hoping that by 2021 that our situation will definitely be changed so charters can expand like they should be able to. So that's the difference between a tuition and a charter is the tuition base, you're the one that's paying for everything. So the government can't tell you, I can't give you funding because there's no funded meeting. Now, and again, what happens with a tuition base is you're paying for all the materials and everything. So there's a lot of really good private tuition-based schools. So how you can find that is, honestly, it's very simple. Just go to Google and say Fresno County tuition-based homeschool. With that, it will indeed go and give you the list of the closest ones to you. So your likeliness of getting into a tuition-based school, private homeschool, is very high right now because it's not based on caps or government funding. So there is some hope there. So again, the couple of ones I mentioned was Keystone, Calvert, Abeka, Mother of Divine Grace. Now, Mother of Divine Grace is a Catholic school. So, I don't know. You have to also understand, do I want a religious school? Do I not want a religious school? And you have to take that into consideration for what you're looking for. And there are both. There's Christian-based tuition homeschool groups, schools. And what's great is you can enroll your child into there. Your child is enrolled, so the state cannot come down on you saying you don't have your child enrolled yet. So let's go to our third option, which is the private school affidavit. And what I want to talk about with this is being widely used in my co-op right now. We have several families that use what we call the PSA, the private school affidavit. You get to name your own school when you fill out the affidavit, which in a second, I'm actually going to take you to that website to take a look at what that looks like and what the application process looks like. But a private school, you have nobody watching over you. You have nobody to report to. Unlike a charter school, what they do is you get a teacher assigned to you. You have to submit work. You have to meet with them regularly. If you're with Inspire, it's every month. Some other schools, it's every 6 weeks. It depends on which school you're in. But you have to meet with them and show them what your child's been doing. And they make sure that they're progressing where they should be. And what's nice about having a teacher involved is that they are going to say, hey, you know what, why don't you try this? Maybe this will work. Or can I recommend that to you? Which is obviously nice because, when you're first getting started, it's difficult to know every curriculum that's out there. You are going to go through a few different ones until you find the right one for you and your family. That's another video, so I'm going to skip that. So with a private school, you don't have any of that. You don't have support. You don't have a teacher. Now with a charter and a private school, you're going to have to do some state testing. Where if you're a private school, you do not have to do state testing. You are doing your own testing, which there's plenty of websites that can help you test your children. You can even put free testing for homeschoolers into your Google or Bing, whatever you use, and they will take you to the websites that will gauge your children on where they are and where you need to help them out with. Now, if you have an IEP or anything like that, there's not going to be anybody to support that. It's going to be you in a private school. Whereas a charter, you can have a specialized person. But I don't want to talk private schooling down, because a PSA can be one of the most freeing things that you can do. You are the ones that test your children. You're the ones that are saying, you know what, you're ready. And you want to know what the great part is? What if your child's not ready? You can also be like, you know what, no, we need to repeat the rest of that last year because we missed something. And nobody's going to say anything about that. They're going to be like, because it's just you're the one making these decisions. So, and that could be scary for some people. You don't have the financial support, you don't have a teacher, but you know what you do have? You have unsurmountable amounts of free curriculum online that can make your journey so simple. And I'm going to show you one of those in a second as well. But the thing is that we have to understand is when you're in the situation where charters are capped right now, maybe you can't afford a private tuition-based school. So your next best thing is going to be filing your private school affidavit. Also, homeschooling percentages are increasing every year around the United States. But even in California, those numbers are going up and up and up. And I can even demonstrate that within our own co-op, the Los Banos Co-op. We started with 12 families. Year 2, we had 50. Last year, we ended with 120. And just because of everything that's happening, we're entering this year with nearly 170 families around our area. And with that being said, that should tell you the upward increases that we're seeing in homeschool. So in your area or near it, you should be able to find a co-op. Facebook is great for those. You can simply put into the Facebook search bar, co-op Fresno. Homeschool co-op Fresno, and it'll populate with what co-ops are around you. And those people are going to be able to help you figure out, where do I begin? What can I do? And you're going to find a lot of peer support. You're going to find a lot of other PSA families that can help you try to navigate these things. So if you end up with a PSA, don't be afraid. You're going to be fine. You can do it. It is not that much different from a charter or, doing a private school, because you still get to pick your own curriculum. You just have to pay for it. Or you can do a free version, which, let's go look at a free version, which I use this to supplement my own curriculum that I've chosen. But I have so many families that use this and they're not even PSAs. Some of these families, they use this as their primary method of teaching their children. So let me share you this screen. And this is what it's called. It's called allinonehomeschool.com. And what we all call it is easy peasy all-in-one school. So what you can do is go to this courses here and look at all of the items here. Art, Bible, computer, foreign languages, history, language arts, math, music, PE, reading, science. It's all here, guys. And this is all free. Let's just take a look at math 4. That's where my son is. So we'll do math 4. And it opens it up for us. And basic supply list. So it's going to give you a supply list. And you can buy books if you want, or you can go to printables. And you can actually print this entire book yourself. What I do is I go, okay, day 1, this week I'm going to do, obviously, day 4 through 8 or something. And so we're going to take and just print off the pages that we need. So that's what's awesome is you can just print off what you need and I mean, it's amazing. It breaks it down, and it's TK through 12th grade, full curriculum, full courses, right at your fingertips. So guys, this is what I'm talking about. There's so many free, amazing things out there. Another couple wonderful websites for you guys for when you go to a private school affidavit is education.com, and has a yearly, very inexpensive cost to it, and you can print out whatever worksheets that you want. And then there's also Teachers Pay Teachers, which I'll bring that up for you right now. So Teachers Pay Teachers, there is literally millions of, you name it. I actually use Teachers Pay Teachers for my own classes that I teach at the co-op. But you can see pre-K through 12th right here. And a lot of these things are just, you can get free if you just click on the free when you do your pricing, and you click free, your grade, and then boom, it populates it. Or like what I like to do is do the search here, and I can type in, let's see, snake science, and everything's going to come up, and you can see there's even books. It's a whole unit study, only $8. There's some for only $1.75. And here's the great part here. Let me highlight some of this stuff. Look at this. It tells you what grade, what comes with it, what grade, what comes with it, your cost. And this is where this site's awesome. And this is teachers from around the world giving you access to what they're teaching. And I mean, if you look here, $7.95, and it includes 22 posters, etc., etc., etc. So you're getting a lot for very inexpensive. Education.com again is a subscription package that you can do instead, and you have access to similar things. And you can, if you have the premium package, you can print as many worksheets as you want, and they have every subject you can think of. So let's look at the private school affidavit information. And this is such a simple thing here. If you click on private school affidavit, which I don't know if it's actually going to work right now because it's not. So you cannot become a private school until October 1st. You have to file this affidavit between October 1st and October 15th of this year. And it's very simple. Yes, I'm going to full-time private school next, and then there's an entire sheet that you fill out. It takes approximately, I want to say 15 minutes, maybe less. And you can get high school diplomas right off of here. And one of my friends who's been homeschooling for 15 years, what she does is, can you pass the following tests? And she doesn't just do, can you pass science 5 or whatever. She does, I want you to be able to cook for yourself. I want you to be able to sew. There's all these life skills as well that her children need to do before they're allowed to graduate. So that's another glorious thing about having a private school affidavit is what does a private school mean to you? What do you want your children to learn? How do you want them to learn it? Nobody's going to be there to tell you no. And if you want, one of your children wants to be a pilot, guess what? California offers a pilot program for children under the age of 16, and it's almost completely free. They can, instead of going and logging 22 hours of school, well, let's do 10 hours of flight time, and then we'll do the rest at school. So there's a lot of things that you can do with a PSA that you can't at a charter or a private tuition-based homeschool. because again, nobody's regulating you. Nobody is telling you what to do. And you get to choose your child's path. And it's actually quite an incredible experience because I think everybody that I've known that is a PSA has been extremely happy because, they decided, well, we're going to do a 4-day a week school week, and we're going to school from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay. And this is another thing for working parents. I want to add this to before I forget, is if you're working and you still want to homeschool your children, you can do it. You can school any time of the day. And that is everything except for, I think, if you're with a charter and you sign up for classes, obviously those classes are going to be at a certain time. But if you're a PSA and you work until 3 p.m. and you want to homeschool your children 5 to 8, you can go right for it, and nobody's going to stop you, and nobody's going to say anything about it. So that's the glorious thing. Obviously, you need to make sure your kids are still on track. There is a lot of testing available online. Again, please feel free to look up those free testing sites. They're every single grade, and you will know if your child's ready to go on to the next grade. Another one of the things that my friend always says about homeschooling with a PSA is, I have the freedom to teach my children in whatever manner that I see is the best. She homeschools children with disabilities. She homeschools advanced learner, and she does great at it. And that's the thing, is with a PSA, you can find your route and you can do it peacefully without having to talk and answer to anybody else. So you can do it. And even, I don't know you, but I believe in you. Because guess what? Most of the time when people are like, oh, I can't private school affidavit, I'm scared, it's more of the worry. And you might not believe in yourself, but guess what? Every single one of us has been teaching our children since the day they were born. We were teaching them mama, papa. We were teaching them how to walk. We were teaching them how to crawl. We were teaching them so much already. So you're already your child's teacher. So transferring that into a curriculum program is actually not as bad as you may think. There is a lot of inexpensive curriculum out there. If you go to Rainbow Resources online, you can pick up an entire curriculum set for $150. There's a lot of other sites, Discount School Supply. You can get a even cheaper Homeschool Buyers Club. You sign up and you can get an entire curriculum very cheaply. Every year we have swap meets. At our co-op, I encouraged at the end of the year that we all get the books that we're not using anymore, that we don't have to return to the school, and we set them up and we swap them so that parents can have access to all sorts of different curriculum. So that's the fascinating part about a private school affidavit. And you got to ask yourself one question: why are you homeschooling? What is it that drives you? And you need to write that down somewhere. Why do I homeschool? Because I have two completely different children that are extremely smart, but one of them has anxiety issues, and he does way better home than taking test after test after test after test. And that's the big difference here. My daughter is advanced and she knows it. So she's very outspoken and she sings the entire time while she's doing her work. And that would not fly at a public school situation. So my why is to give my children a safe place to learn and grow the way they want to and in the subjects that they want to. That doesn't mean I don't teach them all the core subjects, but we go heavy in science for both of them because they're very science minded kids. My son is obsessed with history, but my daughter is obsessed with math. So we can tailor their education to what our children are interested in. And you know what? It helps when they wake up in the morning and like, what history book am I opening today? Where's my math workbook? I can't wait to get to the next part. You know you're doing the right thing. And you know, you can pace your children at a different pace because not every child will learn to read before they're in kindergarten. My son wasn't fully reading until almost third grade. My daughter's going into first and she's reading. They're just two different types of people. That doesn't mean my son is not intelligent. It's just he needed to be taught a different way than the public schools. And we ended up going way back, and we just a private thing. We use learn your way to read through spelling, and it changed everything for us. And it's not a method that's used in public schools. We got the curriculum, and within months he was reading, but public schools weren't willing to teach that way. So when you are homeschooling your child, you get to choose those. And it's a beautiful journey that you're going to go on. I'm going to tell you, the first months are rough. They really are. But you'll get in the groove, trust me. And with the private school affidavit, that you will most likely, unless you find a different option that we discussed, is going to be your safest route until we fix the funding issues with AB 98. And there's so much at your fingertips. I just want to encourage you all that it's okay if you have to start at a private school affidavit. You may never go back. You may never want to go to a charter, and that's okay. Whatever you choose is what you choose for your family. And you know, if you tell somebody, I'm decided to go to a tuition-based homeschool. Oh, that wow, you have a private school. Yeah, I do. And that's okay. No matter what you choose, don't allow anybody else to take that choice away by saying negative things. And that's what I'm going to leave you guys on today. Besides a quick summary at the end, is write down that why. Why are you homeschooling your children? Because if somebody else tells you you're crazy to homeschool, smile at them. Say, well, thank you for that information. Thank you for your opinion. And then leave it at that. You don't have to accept somebody else's thoughts. You don't have to accept that public school is your only route for your children. Be excited. You can make things so exciting. One year, for the first day of school, we did dinosaur prints from the bedrooms, and it led them downstairs to all sorts of dinosaur cutouts. And then everything we did for the first day of school was dinosaurs. And we could do that. We got them excited. So they were excited to learn that day because we got to set up that classroom the way we wanted. And we got to do it with something that my children love and are interested in. This year, my daughter requested butterflies and fairies. So we're going to do a dragons, and because my son, dragons and fairy tales, and we'll have fairies and things like that, and I'll lead them to the classroom, and we'll have some surprises. So these are things that you can do with your children. And I'm going to just say this too, is once you get to experience one of their firsts in education, you're never going to want to stop. That first time they write a difficult word and they spell it correctly, and the look on their face when you tell them, yes, that's correct. A difficult math problem they've been struggling with, and it finally clicks in their head, and you get to see it click in their head. Trust me, whatever it is that you have to do to become a homeschooler will be worth it. And again, your options, those three options in my final summary. One, the charter, which gives you funding, and you have a teacher that will keep an eye on things, help you when you need to be helped. They do not teach your child. They are strictly there to make sure that your child is benefiting and going in a flow of, learning and moving on to the next grade level. The private tuition-based schools, those will be they're going to have teachers as well. The downfalls, you're going to have an out-of-pocket expense. But some of these, if you do your research, are going to be minimal. And then the private school affidavit, which is completely free, by the way. You can sign up to be a private school, and it's fine. I think the most difficult part for private school affidavit people is picking their school name. Yes, you get to have, it could be the Phillips Academy. My last name's Phillips. So you have to pick something, and it's going to be there every time you re-enroll, and that's going to be your own school that your own house has. And again, the greatest things about being a PSA is that nobody's there to tell you, no, you can't teach with that curriculum. You have to use this. You're not using enough curriculum. We need to get you something else. Nobody's going to tell you any of that with the private school affidavit. And again, what's great is you get to choose your child's pace, because maybe your daughter needs more time with reading and writing, but your son needs more time with math. It's okay that they are not where they're supposed to be right out of the gates. As homeschoolers, we have to remember that every single child is different. Every single child is different. And instead of being in a public school where no matter how different they are, they're on the same journey as their 30-something other classmates, at home it's them and it's theirs, and they can own it, and it's beautiful. So if you have to become a private school and sign that affidavit, don't hesitate. You have support out there. Find a co-op. Google the free resources. Use the ones that we just went over. You will find that it is soothing more than stressful, because you don't have to be on a wait list. You can just go and do it. And another great part of PSAs, well, any school, when you homeschool, part of your senior year, you can sign up for junior college credits, and those college credits go towards your college education. So as homeschoolers, we get to enroll early and use those things, and we can use funding for that. Actually, it's completely free at junior colleges in California anyway. So take advantage of those before they end up having to cost you. So you can do it. And I'm here to tell you, I have met with 100 families, and I have only had 2 go back to public school, and it wasn't for them. And that's okay too. Don't be afraid to try it out and be like, this isn't for my family. Nobody's there judging you, just yourself. And it's perfectly fine. So that is my presentation on what your 3 major options are for homeschooling. And just my final note is, because of the AB 98, your better bets right now, if you are on a wait list, please check out tuition based. Please discuss with your children, your spouse, significant other, whatever it is, or maybe just a conversation with yourself. Am I willing to do a private school affidavit? And can I? And I'll tell you, every time the answer is yes, you can. You've got this in you. And I'm already proud of you, because you're sitting here listening to this presentation because you want to take those steps. At our co-op, we say, welcome to the dark side. We have cookies, because we always have coffee and cookies. So I just want to congratulate each of you for taking this journey, and thank you for listening to my presentation.